Today I bring you House Bill 1044. It creates the Arkansas Sports Raffle Act. This bill would allow for Arkansas universities to be able to hold raffles to help fundraise for NIL purposes, scholarships, general support within the athletic program, or even construction of facilities or maintenance at the respective university. These raffles will work just like your local church or your civic organization that are currently being held right now. We're not reinventing the wheel. We are just allowing for our universities to have a tool to help with their fundraising efforts. Currently, there are more than 50 colleges and universities in the United States that hold raffles. Some of those schools include the University of Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, Ohio State, Arizona, Florida, Kentucky, and Georgia. Arkansas would just be adding to that list to stay competitive in an athletic field. Now, this bill's been labeled in the media as the 50-50 raffle bill. While it does do that, it also does so much more. It allows for the local car dealership that's in one of these towns, say it's Southern Arkansas in Magnolia, to be able to give a car to the university and say, you know what, why don't you raffle this off to help raise money? It's not just about the 50-50 that's gotten all the attention across the country. This bill was brought to me by the universities themselves. They asked me for this. In fact, they collectively helped me write the bill with the assistance of Mr. McCoy and others. Minus the part on page 4, line 31B, that says a casino license or an agent or a casino license shall not act as a third-party operator or otherwise administer a raffle on behalf of a qualifying agent or organization. The reason was that because of that stipulation, myself and my Senate sponsor, Senator Dismang, felt like because this was a fundraising bill, not a gambling bill, we wanted to leave the casinos out. The other part was, upon doing research across the country, as I talked about just a moment ago, there's over 50 universities that do this. Not one university is run by a casino. They do it in-house or with a promotional company that the university hires to help them run these raffles. It's been noted on social media from people that do not like this bill that these universities don't have the tools to be able to run a raffle. Well, clearly there's over 50 universities in the country that are doing it. And these promotion companies, that's what they specialize in. They're coming in and helping with that to raise money, not just for NIL. I know that's been talked about a lot. That's a piece, once again, but for all aspects of the university athletic budget. This is helping the smallest of the small universities in our state, all the way up to the University of Arkansas, who's in the SEC. It helps everybody. The people at the smallest of universities that don't have a lot of donors, that are trying just to figure out how to get to the next sporting event, this bill helps them. It allows for them to hold raffles to be able to help them with their general budget each and every year.
We're trying to adapt in college athletics as athletic directors to an ever-changing environment where we're being asked now to share revenue with student athletes on our campuses and to generate more revenue. And this is just another tool for each of us to be able to generate revenue that will go back to support our student athletes, go back to support the success of all of our departments.
There are a number of what I consider showstopper fatal flaws with the bill and its construction. Outside of any misstatements that have been provided to you today in testimony, there are a number of absolute showstoppers. And what I can offer is not me, but our organization to assist with this. Number one, nowhere in the bill is anything other than a requirement that you have to be 18 to use it. There is no rule promulgation process for minimum standards, nor any minimum standards specified. No certainty that you have to be 18 to use it. Now, we heard something about no more than $250 on a credit card. That's fine, I guess. But how do we know that when someone signs up on an app that they're who they say they are? We happen to know a little bit about that at Saracen. We have over 100,000 users in all 75 counties. The way that identity verification works, and this is true of every sports book in the United States, at least the regulated ones, is that you work with a third-party vendor. We happen to work with a company that does a lot of work in the government space. We've had customers in our space, again, separate from this drawing, who have gone through additional levels of scrutiny for identity verification when we believe something strange might be going on or when pings are occurring in multiple places. This is what you need when you are going to gamble online. And make no bones about it, if you are risking money to win money, you are gambling online. Whether it's for a charity or to make money for a casino or the lottery or anything else, you are gambling online. Nowhere in this bill do we have anything that indicates, besides the fact it just says you gotta be 18, that we're gonna control who's doing it. Geolocation. In sports betting in particular, we must keep the transactions intrastate. And if you had 10 lawyers here, they'd give you 10 different answers about how geolocation applies outside of sports betting. With sports betting, it is specific to a federal law called the Wire Act. But there is conflicting legal opinion as to the applicability of the Wire Act with regard to other forms of RMG. RMG is known as real money gambling, which is risking money to win money on the internet. Safe harbor best practice is always in the space of real money gaming to keep your transactions intrastate only. Because when you go interstate, you create federal nexus and you risk not only going crossways with the federal government, but outside of your jurisdiction, attorneys general and other enforcement agencies in other states who may view your activity differently than you do. Our position at Saracen has always been, because of the Wire Act, we're intrastate. And should we ever be in an opportunity to run a 50-50 for free, which we'll get to in a moment, we would restrict it intrastate because it is a best practice. Nowhere in this bill is there any reference to geolocation. And that is a danger because this can get us afoul of other states in the federal government. Perhaps the most important thing to me as a casino guy is the lack of any discussion about the random number generator that will be selecting the winner. What is a random number generator? It's the thing that picks the number, right? So we built, in anticipation of being able to hopefully do this for free, a random number generator that, I don't exactly know what this word means. The tech guys call it smoke testing. I think it means final phases of being done. A random number generator tested to GLI 19, which will be proprietary to us, but I will tell you today, and I have not checked with the owners of the casino, but I will make this offer live here today. Should we be able to offer this, I will give to the other casinos in Arkansas for free so that they can offer this feature to support our colleges as well. We're about $1.2 million invested in a proprietary random number generator, one that's lottery grade, and we'll give it away. There is no reference to what the random number generator will look like in this. We don't know where the companies are coming from, we don't know who the vendors will be, and we certainly don't know the security measures that will be in place to select their number. I do want to quibble with something we talked about in app earlier. I think it's debatable whether or not you could ever actually get a university-run raffle on the app. If memory serves, and I've talked to the guys in Florida Victoria's 50-50. If memory serves, FV 50-50 is not on an app. I can tell you, having had personal experience with the creation of a real money gambling online app, the hardest part of it, well, there's really two hard parts. I'll get to the next one in a second. Probably the hardest part, besides payments, is getting through Apple and Google Play's compliance departments. And we expended hundreds of thousands of dollars in opinion letters because they don't take y'all's word for it. We send a rule that's promulgated by an agency that's approved by ALC that 10 days later goes in the Secretary of State's books. That's still not enough for a company like Apple. It's still not enough for Google. It's still not enough for Facebook. They want opinion letters. And they want opinion letters from their preferred vendors, their preferred lawyers. It's fine, it's the cost of doing business. But we expended hundreds of thousands of dollars in specific opinion letters just to clear Visa, Venmo, PayPal, then stagger Apple Pay, Google Pay, and the like. That's payments. But all of that times 10 to get onto the app stores. So to get something engaged in real money gaming on an app store, and I realize I'm granular here, but I want you all to understand that not only have we had misleading testimony, we've completely left out the elephant in the room, which are all of the major technical problems associated. In order to clear the threshold for compliance with the app stores, they basically try to break your app. We know how to do this, and we're offering to do this, and we're offering to do this for free. Why would you do it for free? Why do we put our name on the Razorback app? Why is our name on the Jumbotron? Why is our name on the infield pads? It's good for our company, and it's also good to support these institutions. We have the ability to do it now for free. You don't need a fiscal impact statement. We heard earlier about Bump 50/50. Bump 50/50 rolls up into a Canadian national company. Don't take my word for it. Google it. This company has a number of tentacles, one of which touts itself as one of the premier vendors in casino gaming. Now think about that for a minute. We were told that the casinos couldn't participate, and there was only one vendor thrown out as an option. I'm sure there's a million. I don't know if this is a procurement deal or not. I have no idea how they'll do it. But they named one vendor, Bump. And it's a damn casino company. In the same bill in which you specifically preclude casinos from participating, and in which you say you're going to run it on an app sponsored by a casino. What are we doing? You have an in-state company willing to help, and they're being told no.
Wow, testimony. It's a heck of a show. That's what they're in the business of entertaining at the casino. That's what they do, is entertain. I'm in the business of trying to help. That's what we all are in the business of trying to help our universities, our athletes to succeed and be the best that they can be. I take exception with some of the testimony that he said that this bill and myself has been misleading. This bill was filed in pre-filing. We've already done an amendment to it. There's nothing misleading about it. It's been out there for people to look at. We haven't tried to ramrod this thing through. We put it out there for the world to see in November or December, whenever I knew they moved the bill filing. But what is misleading is that there is no other casino that got up here and testified against this bill. We've got 3 in this state, and nobody else testified against it. Just one. So it makes you ask the question, what's in it for them? If it's so important for them, what's in it for them? And the answer, which he never answered your question, Representative McKenzie, was iGaming. Never once answered it. He beat around the bush, and because they cannot do a raffle through their app without iGaming. I like Carlton Saffa. I think he's a great guy. I think he means well. But I think what he's wanting to do is something completely different. I didn't wake up this morning or the morning of December, whenever the filing was, and say, you know what, we need a raffle bill. This was brought to me by the universities, our universities in the state. Since we filed the bill, I've had some of the smallest universities in our state, along with the biggest being the University of Arkansas, giving input on this bill and how it's going to help them. And so I ask for your support in this bill, because while raffles, you may have a definition that doesn't align with what our Arkansas Constitution is, at the end of the day, this is a fundraising bill, not a gambling bill. This is a bill to help raise money for travel expenses, for uniforms, for NIL, whatever the universities deem fit for this money. This also gives your average Arkansan that wants to get involved with the NIL or with the building fund or with their just whatever cause they may have at their university, for them to be able to give $5 or $10. They may not have the tens of thousands of dollars that some of these sponsors have. And so this gives them a foot in the door to be able to help out. So I'll close by saying this. I would really appreciate your vote on this one. Our universities would really appreciate your vote on this one, and our student athletes in the state of Arkansas would appreciate your vote on this. And with that, I make a motion to pass.
All right, members, we have a motion to pass on this bill. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Sorry, Representative Hawk, your bill's been failed.
Thank you, sir.